rescue, and crews from Detroit have joined the search for a missing plane that disappeared over Lake Erie. The Coast Guard is desperately searching for 3 adults and 3 children. The Cessna Citation took off from Burke Lakefront Airport in Cleveland just before 11 o'clock last night. The flight was supposed to land at Ohio State University, but instead it vanished from radar about 2 miles over the lake. Crews took advantage of the daylight today to continue searching in waters about 50 feet deep. They found no signs of debris or the missing people, and they detected no emergency beacon. The chief executive of Superior Beverage Company was piloting the plane. The pilot was John T. Fleming. His father says the passengers were Fleming's wife, their 2 teen sons, a neighbor, and a neighbor's daughter. We'll get ready for some football tonight. Michigan will take on Florida State in the Orange Bowl. It's the final game of the season for the Wolverines, who are 10-2 this year. The Seminoles are 9-3. Tonight's game will kick off at 8 p.m. on ESPN. It's at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. Go Blue!
All right.
And we are following a deadly accident on a ski lift. A mother was killed when she and her 2 daughters fell from the lift. It happened yesterday at a ski ranch in Granby, Colorado, northwest of Denver. The chairlift does have safety bars, so investigators are trying to figure out what could have caused this tragedy.
EMS Station 1, respond to Ski Granby Ranch for 3 patients that fell from the chairlift approximately 25 feet.
The family is from Texas. The mom was 40 years old. Her 2 daughters are 9 and 12. Right now, the younger girl is still in the hospital with serious injuries, and the lift is closed while police investigate the case. We are staying on top of this developing story for you right now. Russia is holding off retaliating a day after the U.S. leveled sanctions against it for hacking into our election process. Russian President Vladimir Putin says he will not kick out American diplomats, even though the U.S. has given 35 Russian diplomats until Sunday to leave the U.S. Putin says he will wait to see what incoming President Donald Trump does moving forward. Russia continues to deny any hacking took place. Meantime, Republican Senator John McCain is scheduled a hearing for Thursday to look further into cyber threats against the U.S. Trump released a statement saying it's time to move on to bigger and better things, although he said he will meet next week with leaders from the intelligence community to get updated on information.
Well, we've been showing you mannequin challenges before, but this one right here, this may top them literally all.
Yeah. Imagine holding perfectly still in 0 gravity, floating weightless. That's what the astronauts did just on board the International Space Station here.
Wow, one of the astronauts with the European Space Agency posted this on Facebook. We took the mannequin challenge to new heights, it says. The result is kind of sci-fi spooky, don't you think?
Wow, yes, it is.
It is kind of spooky. It looks like one of those movies that you'll see right here, but it's great. I mean, come on, you can't beat that one right there.
No, very cool.
Super.
Well, this is kind of like watching a Hatchimal. One of Harriet, the eagle's eggs, has cracked.
There's a crack. Look at that.
Her story is captivating millions of people, some watching as far away as China for signs of these little birds. The bald eagle is nesting in Florida near Fort Myers, and she's been there since 2006.
I admit I've been watching for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And the real estate guy, Dick Pritchett, he's getting some good exposure. Hey,
It's going to be spring, Daddy.
Oh, well, the video went viral, and the weatherman actually invited the toddler to the studio. Little Woods did his thing at the weather wall and charmed everyone. Who knows, in a few years, he may be after Dave's job.
I don't know. Dave is standing by right now. What do you think of his job? I think he said to me.
Well, still heading your way on the Now Detroit, the world-famous restaurant closing its doors for good. Plus, next week is known as National Returns Day. We'll tell you how it's getting easier to do and how you could go home with more than you're taking back. Stay with us. Well, have you finished all of your holiday returns yet?
I got lucky. I didn't have to send anything back. Everything's good, but a lot of us have not. And right now, UPS is bracing for an onslaught. UPS says it expects to handle more than 5.8 million return packages next week. The busiest day will be next Thursday, January 5th, which is known, oddly enough, as National Returns Day. They will process, they say, 1.3 million returns that day alone.
And when it comes to returns, we're running into fewer hassles, too. UPS did a study that shows over the last 5 years we've had fewer issues paying for return shipping and restocking fees and fewer delays getting credit back for refunds. UPS also found 7 out of 10 online shoppers do make additional purchases when they return something to a store, and nearly 5 out of 10 buy something else when doing the return on the store's website.
Which is pretty good news, since the National Retail Federation estimates all of those returns add up to more than $260 billion in lost sales, or take-backs, as it were. Hey,
Bacon Day. Enjoy it. Well, here's a real heartbreaker. The world-famous Carnegie Deli closing its doors for good tonight. Fans lined up all week to get their last taste of the oversized sandwiches. The deli has been in the Big Apple for 79 years with its old neon sign and photos of celebrities who have eaten there since 1937. The owner says long hours at Carnegie have taken a toll, and now it's time for her to enjoy life.
I love Carnegie. They have like Rubens the size of your head.
You think someone might take it over?
Someone might. Hey, still.
And Bill Cosby's attorneys have filed a motion to change the venue of his criminal trial to another city in Pennsylvania. Attorneys argue that the tainted press coverage has already convinced Montgomery County of Cosby's guilt. The 79-year-old faces charges of felony indecent assault as a former Temple University employee, Andrea Kornstedt. The incidents have said to have occurred inside Cosby's home in 2004.
Now, you've heard.
Millions of Americans will begin the new year making a little more money. On Sunday, minimum wage is going up in 19 states, including ours. Michigan will now be $8.90, an hour up from $8.50. Michigan and Washington State will have the highest new minimum wage in the U.S. at $11 an hour. Arizona will have the biggest increase, up at $1.95 to $10 an hour. That's one of the largest one-time minimum wage increases ever. The federal minimum wage remains $7.25 an hour, and it hasn't gone up since 2009. Well, we've told you about the security preps to make sure this New Year's ball drop in Times Square goes off without a hitch.
Now, even if we aren't there to see it in person, many of us will watch it on TV. Matter of fact, I think most people watch this.
Well, have you ever wondered how it all started? The first was back in 1907, and the first New Year's Eve ball was made of iron and wood, and it featured 125 25-watt bulbs. It weighed 700 pounds, and it was 5 feet in diameter.
Compare that to today's ball, which is more than twice as big, at 12 feet in diameter. It weighs nearly 12,000 pounds, covered in nearly 2,700 Waterford crystal triangles, and has 32,000 LEDs on it.
As for the idea of dropping the ball in the first place, that dates back to 1833. The first time the ball was dropped was on the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, England. It dropped 1 o'clock each afternoon so passing ships could see their navigational instruments.
And now it's a tradition. Hey, no doubt.
Thanks, Justin. And still ahead on the Now Detroit, the Macomb County man going national. Sima? Right now, mortgage rates are at their highest level since early 2014. Freddie Mac announced the rate on a fixed 30-year loan rose to 4.32%, up from 4.30% last week. Rates began to climb following the presidential election. Investors are bidding rates higher, believing Donald Trump's plan for tax cuts and higher infrastructure spending will increase economic growth and inflation. Well, parts of the U.S. are heading into the New Year's weekend digging out from feet of snow. We caught up with David McLean here in Maine today. He was running late for work after his snowblower broke, so he hooked up a plow to his ATV so he could get out. Parts of Maine got more than 27 inches of snow in the latest winter blast, and this afternoon tens of thousands are dealing with having no power. Video out of New Hampshire shows similar conditions as the storm hitting there yesterday. We know of one person who was killed in Vermont after his car slid off the road. Well, Dave is in now checking to see if we have any bad weather in store for us in the next few days. Famous TCL theater, Chinese theater, IMAX, went dark for the 11th time ever in honor of the Hollywood icon. Reynolds' memorable acting singing role in Singing in the Rain was partially filmed at that theater, and her handprints were also cemented there in 1965. Reynolds died Wednesday at age 84, one day after her daughter, Carrie Fisher, passed away. We are learning new information about their funeral plans, and we're putting that together for you for Action News at 5. And congrats are in order for Serena Williams. The tennis phenom is engaged to Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian. A spokesperson for Ohanian says he popped the question while the two were vacationing in Rome. Williams first announced the news herself in a Reddit post on its Reddit I Said Yes forum. Ohanian also announced the engagement on his Facebook page, linking to Williams' Reddit post, adding, "She said yes." Williams and Ohanian have dated since 2015, the fall, but managed to pretty much keep their relationship out of the spotlight. No word yet on a wedding date.
And we'll hear about it on Reddit.
Sure. Cyrus made the visit partly to promote her Happy Hippie Foundation. She dressed the part by wearing a green outfit with a hippie-like floral print. The foundation website says it hopes to draw support to fight injustice faced by homeless and LGBTQ youth and other vulnerable groups.